Good evening. Call to order the monthly council meeting for the Mayor and City Council, City of Taneytown, and I ask Councilwoman Fuller to please lead us in the pledge.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, to start, I will make an adjustment to the agenda this evening based on conversation Wednesday night. Under new business, amendment to Public Works Capital Improvement Plan and facial recognition will not be discussed this evening. We're awaiting information to discuss it at a future date, so that will be removed. Let the records reflect that all council members are present and accounted for, and we'll kick it off with review of the minutes for the February 5th, February 10th, and February 17th meetings. I'll seek a motion to approve.
So moved. Oh, sorry.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion on the motion? Any changes, corrections? All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the February 5th, February 10th, and February 17th meetings. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. Very good. For a correction to the agenda, if you're looking at it, public comment does not occur on Monday evenings. That's a Wednesday evening thing, so that will be skipped over for the evening. I will ask the council if they have any conflicts of interest on any of the agenda items.
No, sir.
No, sir. All right. With that, we're going to be introducing 3 ordinances this evening, all rotating around our budget. We are in the midst of budget time, starting with Ordinance 01-2020. This is the operating budget for fiscal year 2020 to 2021. I'll entertain a motion for introduction.
So moved.
And do I have a second? Okay, is there any discussion on introducing the FY21 operating budget? All right. It has been moved and seconded to introduce Ordinance 01-2020. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. I'll be seeking the same for Ordinance 02-2020. This is determining the tax rate for FY21. Just for clarity, we are keeping the tax rate the same as it has been at 37 cents. Do I have a motion for introduction? And do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. Any discussion on the tax rate? It's been moved and seconded to introduce Ordinance 02-2020, the FY21 tax rate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Great. And finally, for introduction, we have Ordinance 03-2020. This is the FY21 water and sewer rate, again remaining the same. Do I have a motion for introduction?
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
Any discussion on the FY21 water and sewer rates? All right, it has been moved and seconded to introduce Ordinance 03-2020, the FY21 water sewer rate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed may say no. Very good. That's all for the introductions. Now we move into our adoptions. We start with Ordinance 04-2020, Budget Amendment number 2 for fiscal year 2020. I'll entertain a motion to adopt or not.
So moved.
You can have the so move and I'll
I'll do the second.
All right, and Councilwoman Fuller gets the second. Any discussion regarding Budget Amendment number 2 for FY20? It's been moved and seconded to approve Ordinance 04-2020. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right. Resolution 2020-03. This is our monthly water allocation, this one from March of 2020. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
Very good. Any discussion on the water allocation? Very good. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2020-03. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. Excellent. Finally, up for adoption this evening is Resolution 2020-04, updates to the Employee Handbook or Personnel Manual. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All right.
That you had it
Yeah, your misery.
Do both of you?
We're all trying to be polite.
Any discussion on the amendments to the personnel manual? All right, it's been moved and second to accept the amendments to personnel manual on Resolution 2020-04. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right. Mr. Weeprick, you have anything for us in addition to your city manager report?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Nothing to add. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Weeprick on city manager or departmental reports? All are satisfied? Outstanding. Mr. Gullo, do you have anything to add for your legal report,
I
sir?
do. One item that I neglected to mention last week, it was on my written report that we will be executing a contract with a hydrogeologist. It's the same individual that we've been using for years, it's that the individual is moving companies, so we're going to follow the individual and not stay with the company. So they're monthly tests that they do, and everybody inside has vetted it, so we're just going to be doing that as a routine type of thing. Wanted you to know that. That's it.
Very good. That's not subject to bid or anything. It's just a professional service that we...
Services. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Gullo regarding his legal report? All right. We have nothing under old business this evening. Coming into new business, you have your monthly financial report. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the monthly financial report? All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve the monthly financial report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right. We shall move out of that into our accounts payables. The register of checks in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the accounts payables? Very good. It's been moved and seconded to approve the accounts payables. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. All right. Special events permit process. For clarity, before we begin, I'll ask Mr. Weeprick to clarify exactly what we'll be looking for this evening on this.
We are just looking for consensus as to the process itself, where special events that are not city-sponsored ones, that is outside organizations, that those events will submit an application, be vetted by staff, and then ultimately come to mayor and council for approval as to authorizing use of the parks for those special events. The only thing that we kind of left open-ended from Wednesday night was how far in advance would be reasonable to allow groups to try to reserve space in the park for, say, an annual event that they would like to have. So that's the only thing we didn't really fully
Finalize, right.
We certainly can, we can come back with a recommendation, or if you would like to kind of set a date this evening, we can run with that. Or
Okay.
a timeframe.
A time frame. Okay, well, I'll ask the council if they have any strong feelings or suggestions on that. I think the two options we considered were 6 months or 1 year.
I agree with the 1 year.
Yeah, the 1 year.
Okay, council has consensus for 1 year.
On that note, didn't we also discuss whether or not we were going to actually have it come completely to council, or if it was going to be?
I think ultimately it will come completely to council. Whether it's granted prior to and then coming to council for confirmation later, like the PWA, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
For the most part, obviously, if they schedule a year out,
Well,
it'll
that
come
should be
before council before anything else. For the sake of parliamentary procedure, Mr. Gullo, do we really need a motion on this, or can we work by consensus?
We should work on consensus so that it
Perfect.
says that the council saw it, agreed with the policy, but I don't think you need to go formal with that.
Okay, so based on what was discussed, everyone in agreement with the special permit?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Thank you all. And lastly, for new business, we have the dewatering design proposal. Is there anything to add to that this evening, Mr. Weeper?
No, just looking for a motion and vote for the approval to have CDM Smith move ahead with the design.
All right, I will seek a motion to that effect.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions regarding the proposal? All right, it's been moved and seconded to contract with CDM Smith to move forward with the engineering for the dewatering design proposal. Is that correct? Very good. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. Very good. Move through that nice and briskly. We will get into our council member reports. I'll start with Councilman Haynes. What do you have for us this evening, sir?
I have nothing to report this evening.
Very good. When is the next meeting for the Carroll, the Regulatory Committee for Cable?
A date has not been set. Our last meeting was not exciting. We kind of mulled over and finalized the discussion about the fact that Comcast is shutting down its one and only Carroll County location. So, but that was all.
Is or has already?
Has already.
Has already. I don't expect many of your meetings are very exciting, though.
Than
So
that.
nice.
Just saying. Councilman Hale, what do you have for us this evening?
The skateboard, the Taneytown Skateboard Committee is meeting at the Taneytown Library tomorrow at 6:30. We're looking for input. Hopefully I'll see some of you there. That group's just starting, so we don't know of a committee yet, but the goal is to create one, starting with the meeting tomorrow. That'd be pretty exciting. The goal is something similar to what Westminster has in the form of a cement skateboard park. That's what they want. And that organization, the Manchester Skate Park Committee, has been very successful in fundraising and not a lot of cost to the city, repairing items, that type of thing. So it's pretty exciting. Before we meet again, there's a couple of events that will be held in April. One by the American Legion that for over 50 years they've been having their Easter egg hunt down at the park. I don't know the dates, it's on Facebook. And then Main Street's having a pretty neat little affair that I don't know if you want to talk about it more yourself. But that's, so a lot of stuff coming up. That's all, sir.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Mayor Pro Tem Foster, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yes. Nancy McCormick and I will be attending the quarterly Main Street, Maryland Main Street committee meeting on Wednesday in Ricestown, Maryland, is one. And secondly, I would just like to thank our acting city manager, Jim, for all of your last-minute comments that the legislative committee has tasked us with. It seems like they always want comments and they want them yesterday. Jim very, very competently supplied comments to the legislative committee, which they take to the General Assembly, on sustainable communities, the HUR, the highway user revenues, and parks and recs funding. So, like I said, they wanted all of these comments like quick, fast, and in a hurry, and Jim rose to the occasion, so thank you.
All right, Councilman Vigliotti, what do you have for us this evening?
The police departmental report for February 2020. So in February, the total number of dispatched or generated calls for service numbered 472. The total number of citations issued, state, city, and repair orders were 111. The total number of warnings issued were 65. The total number of adult arrests were 10, and the total number of juvenile arrests was 1. In the good news side of things, the last report from our 3 recruits in the academy have demonstrated that they're all maintaining a 90% or above GPA. In terms of community outreach, the police department is preparing for spring and summer events and looking forward to continuing to be an active part of the community through warmer weather. More details on those events are going to be forthcoming. Now, next month, we have a number of events coming up that specifically relate to the city and the police department. On Sunday, April 5th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., the police will host their Pack the Police Car Spring Edition food drive at Kenny's Market. Donations this time will benefit local families through Taneytown Elementary School. On Friday, April 17th, from 7 to 10 a.m., the city's relay team, including the police and participating members of the city's administration, will host a Relay for Life fundraiser at Dunkin' Donuts where monetary donations will be accepted. And on Friday evening, April 17th, beginning at 7:30, Relay for Life will hold their annual Luminaria ceremony downtown. With the police's escorts, a Luminaria procession and ceremony will occur proceeding up and down the sidewalks and beginning and ending at the police station. Additionally, a number of shops will remain open late that evening for Luminaria participation and for shopping before and afterwards. And that's it for me this evening.
All right. For clarification, that evening during the Luminary, parking will be restricted downtown. We will not be permitting parking along the side of the street during the Luminary ceremony. We'll open back up afterwards. But just for a note, keep an eye out for that. Parking will be affected there. Councilwoman Fuller, what do you have for us this evening?
As I say, nothing on the planning side, but as far as the other Easter egg hop into extravaganza, it's on April 5th from 10 to 3 at Memorial Park, and they will have the egg hunt at 1 p.m. They're going to have a DJ and kids' activities, and you can visit your favorite downtown shops to choose an egg for special savings throughout the event. So, but I think it's at the same time as the food drive.
You can do both.
So hopefully people will be able to manage to hit both.
We're still a small town. We
That's true.
can get from one side to the other pretty quickly.
Yes, very quickly.
All right. Is that everything for you?
Yeah, I think that'll do it.
All right, very good. I'll start by talking about the, from Legislative Committee. As Mayor Pro Tem Foster talked about, Mr. Wheatbrick was great in providing some comments to MML and the Assembly regarding some of the issues. I think one of the biggest successes that we had so far this session, there were two counties who were trying to bully their way into getting the community parks and playgrounds money, which is exclusively for municipalities in the state. Counties get a different set of money, municipalities get this set. They decided, since they don't have municipalities, that they wanted some of that too. MML, the Maryland Municipal League, as well as support of all the municipalities, spoke up and said that's not fair, and it received an unfavorable report, which means it's not going to go any further in the Assembly, which is great. Some of the money that we really depend on for our parks will continue coming to us and not be shared with these other counties. There are other things going on in there. We're kind of watching a few things happening. We'll have an update tomorrow morning from the committee. I am very excited that Monday, May 25th, Memorial Day, we will be having a Memorial Day parade here in town. We've wanted to bring parades back for years. We're finally at that point. It is coming back. You'll see it floating around on Facebook, but it's an exciting thing for us to do. So just keep that in mind. We do have the business breakfast coming up this Friday. And then also for April, it's being moved to the first Friday of the month. It'll be April 3rd, so keep that in mind as well on that change. I think that's really what I have at this point. So if there's nothing additional, I will seek a motion to, hang on, before I do that, hang on, turn over my agenda. We will be adjourning into closed session after this meeting, so of course I will read the always exciting closing statement, and then I'll be seeking that motion to go into closed session and adjourn the open session. So today, March 9th, 2020, in accordance to the Maryland Open Meetings Act, Title 10 Government Procedures, Subtitle 5 Meetings, subsection 3-305B, this meeting will be closed as closed only to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. Listing of topics to be discussed, the authority in the Open Meetings Act for having such discussion in closed session, and citation shall be citation 305B7, topic being MDE compliance issues and consulting with counsel to obtain legal advice. At this point, I will seek a motion to adjourn the public session. Excuse me.
305B or A?
It is B.
Okay.
Yes. 305B7. I'll seek a motion to adjourn the open session and move into closed session.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
Claire, for consistency, I'm giving that second to Mayor Pro Tem Foster, since I'm writing it as well. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed say nay. And we are adjourned to closed session. We will reconvene in 10 minutes.